I have the key. Well, hi everyone, welcome to the Flux Dev Meeting. To discuss today the planning for Flux 2.9 release, which is scheduled for end of month. But before we do that, anything from the audience want to discuss? Ogi, Bilal, want to introduce yourself?
I just have a short item that I wanted to bring to your attention, Stefan. The Quemby team and myself presented a Captain Flux integration to the Silver Working Group 6, which is in charge of automated deployment. And apparently that was well received. So we're now working with them to take this forward. And involved in the presentation were Deutsche Telekom, Orange, and Swisscom. And we also brought this to the attention of Martin, what's his name? The head of control plane, Andrew Martin, just so that you know. Okay.
Oh, great. Bilal?
Yeah, hi everyone. Sorry for not being able to open my camera. I actually just joined here for the first time. I was just looking through the Flux project, and I just wanted to, you know, uh, get involved in the project. So just yeah, that's why I joined the meeting today to see what's going on.
Oh, thank you. Hey, Kenan.
Hey, my network is crap. I'm getting a new router today, but I can start the recording.
We did. Mateus
Oh, you
did.
did? Okay.
All good. Thank you. Okay, so we can start discussing the release planning. Um, Mateus, could you share your screen with the roadmap?
Sure.
Okay, let's start from the top. Oh, we still have chart API v3 in this milestone, so we need to move this.
I moved it to the .10.
Read the first phrase.
Okay, I moved only the items and not the first beginning. Okay.
Yeah, we need to reframe this. I'll do that. Make it about plugins because this will be a big thing. That way, it's brand new to Flux ecosystem and the ignore rules.
Yeah.
Okay, did we added also all the plugins here? No. Okay, so for me, I will update the goal and also list the plugin repos. Okay, what's next? Uncheck ignore rules. I've seen that you made a comment on the customized
The-
controller, right?
yeah. Yeah, just should change the API name. instead of drift ignore rules, like to just ignore, which is how we have it for Helm. Even though Helm is not the same API, it's to make it closer. So in Helm, it's spec.drift detection. Then you have the mode and you have like ignore. For us, for a customized controller, to be like just spec.ignore. We also have spec.ignore like in Git repository, for example. So I think
We have
it's,
ignore in all sources, right?
yeah. So more aligned.
Yeah, I'm wondering how confusing this will be for AI. If it will try to write git ignore rows in the ignore field of a customized controller or not. So yeah, ignore. So let me look a little bit. So in Helm release, we have ignore, which take path and target.
Yeah, the structure of what's inside ignore for Helm controller and Helm and customized controller will be the same. That's good for AI.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so the substructure is identified.
Yes.
Okay, let me comment on this one. So can you take away to ping Deepti today? I also commented on this one to do the change. And then tomorrow, if she does it today evening, we can merge this tomorrow. We still have, so there is also on this, to close this feature, we also need the CLI. Is the CLI added here?
No, it's not added here. You need to add it.
Yeah, we need to add it. I think she has a pull
Yeah.
request.
Yeah, she already
Draft.
opened a pull request already.
Yeah, 2 days ago, yeah.
She needed a change in package, which I merged and released and finger. So she can move on there.
Okay, great. So let's
There's
aim
also
for, hear me out. Aim for end of week to have the drift ignore rules completely done. Is the CLI blocking blocked on the customized controller release? Is not, because we use Why is she importing customized control API? Oh, damn, yeah.
Because Flux Div KS needs the customization, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so this needs to be in draft till last week. Anyway, she's not around, we can take over. Because this needs to be really well timed.
This is gonna block on customized control release.
No, the other way around. So we can merge the pull request in the Flux story point, the CLI, unless we release customized controller, we merge the update automation inside Flux 2, so we get the new API in, and only then we can merge the CLI.
That's what I said.
Because, yeah, so this is I can't merge this at all. Don't remember what I did before when we had this station. If I used
We did this last. No, we did this in 2.7 for something. What was it? I don't remember.
Yeah, but we did it because we didn't do it here. It wasn't a diff change.
No, it wasn't. It was something else entirely.
Yeah, because in other parts we can use unstructured. So we are not, even if the field was not there, we assume the field will be there at some point and we just select it through an unstructured selector. But here we use the actual type and it needs to have like this one-on-one typed mapping. Yeah, there is no way around this. Anyway, we need to add it to the roadmap and I'll also add it to the issue that I'll create as a blocker, blocked by customized control release. So this we can only merge it in customized control. That's the only thing we can do.
Yeah.
Okay, so if this is settled, what next? What's next unchecked?
SSH key SPRs.
Yeah, so I merged the original one in package. Did you do a release with it? No.
No, because there's more PRs from hidden package. So, and there's test failing. So we needed to look at it and rebase and merge the other PR. I got blocked on the release because the test was failing.
So how is that related to anything? Because the pull request test was doing okay.
Well, it's Git related, and it started failing after we merged that. So
What's failing?
let me send the link. This sent you in our chat.
The repository, it is a race condition with GitLab. Did you rerun this?
Yes. 2 times.
Okay,
Can try
this
again
is
now.
not a hidden concern. This is so either this is not related to anything PGP signature. This is about I've seen this race condition before. And it also detects a race condition in GoGit. Yeah, is a race condition in the file system implementation of GoGit that got caught by the race detector in Go. There are many of these. Work 3 commit has a race.
Well, the test passed now. Fourth
Yeah,
time
I'm
remaining.
wondering if these race conditions are just because I've seen this before in GoGit. Anyway, this needs to be, I don't know, if GoGit added to Google Fuzz, the fuzzers, GoGit, Google OSS. Fuzz.
Okay, I just released Git 050.
Wow. Yeah, so GoGit is in Google OSS Fuzz. So if there is actually a race condition, which should be a CVE, then the GoGit maintainers are probably already notified. You don't need to do anything. Okay. So this will this unlock source control? No, because you need the other
There's another PR
result.
from hidden.
But that's about commit, right?
Let me check.
Yes, allow signing commit with SSH. So
Yeah,
this
it gets
is
it for image automation.
yeah. So if he didn't touch anything here around signing verification, and it shouldn't. Yeah, it's impossible
Yeah.
to review this. It's
Yeah, the PR is a mess right now.
because he did a branch from that pull request, so GitHub is
Yeah, he needs to rebase.
panic mode. Does not understand what's going on. Yeah, so let's. I'll ping Hide around this one, but now in theory we should be unblocked for. Let's see, where in source control is this? Do we even have one source controller?
I saw PRs from him in the two controllers, yes.
No, those are about signing. No, so in source controller there is nothing. So we need to ping this guy on that issue.
The guy who implemented in package will also implement it in source controller. I thought he was taking over.
He there was supposed to do the signing part.
Hmm.
Where is that issue? Feature request, port validation, and sure. Okay, going to paste the link here. Yeah, so you can comment on this one with the version that you have released. Not now, after the call. So at least both of them know that we have released that.
Did you send it somewhere?
Yeah, in the Zoom chat. See it?
Yes.
Okay. AWS is done. Okay, add support for custom 6-star trust root. So this one.
I should ping Ricardo, right? About this. The guy who contributed the code and package.
Not Ricardo, Pierre. Are confusing them.
No, the link
Yes,
you
I
sent
think.
in the chat, it's for source controller, right?
Yeah. I was moving on now to
Okay.
the 6-star trust. So for the 6-star trust, we should merge the first PR. From Pierre, I'm going to send him a private message. Maybe he didn't saw my comment yesterday. Then ask Lee to rebase his pull request that adds some fixes on top plus some tests. Let me paste this as well in chat. So we have to be merged is this one. Then after we merge this one, we need the rebase this other one. Oh, okay, so we need to get this in quite soon because the week before the last week with releases, I'll be off completely. The whole week need to go to Platform Con and Open Source Summit, Finance Summit. So we said we are going to release it on the 29 or 30, right? That's Monday or
Yeah.
yeah, and so the week before 29, I'm fully off. And I'll be at conferences in London. I will have zero time to do anything.
So we release at the end of the following week?
No, because I'll be off. So we release on 29, but the week before, I'm not going to be able to do much. Maybe dedicate 1 hour in the morning, maybe 1 hour in the evening.
So you're suggesting we release, do everything, make like at the end of 19, we have it ready for release, but we only do it on 29.
Yeah, let's aim 19 to have the controllers, all the controllers released. And the week when I'm off, you can do all the patching of the CLI and so on, and I can review because those will not be hard to review if you get everything else.
The patching of the CLI, you mean?
Like merging all the pull requests that we can't merge because the controllers are not yet released, right? Like deep TSPR, all the updates to the APIs, everything,
Okay.
right? So there is a bunch of stuff there.
Yeah, at the moment it's only deep TSPR, right? Like once all the controllers are released, we just trigger the usual update workflow. And on top of that, we can merge deep TSPR.
Yes, but before this, you'll probably have to bump also the Go Git providers.
Okay.
So the
But we
CLI
have to do
depends
that,
on,
but we don't, no, I don't know that. But does source controller or image automation depend on that?
no, so that's the
Hmm.
dependency of the Flux Bootstrap command because it
Hmm.
only that one talks through Go Git providers to, I don't know, GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, uh,
Okay, so
Gitea.
only the CLI depends on it. Okay.
Yes, so you can do that. We bump all the dependencies there, and we do a release of Go Git providers in that week. Then we update it in the CLI.
Cool.
So this is like after we bump everything to our automation with the releases of the controllers, right? So that if Friday we finish everything, then Monday you can do the controllers, go Git, then look at other pull requests that can be merged in the CLI. There are other small fixes and stuff like that that we can get into the CLI. I don't know if you've seen them, but
Yeah.
there are a
So
bunch.
I guess it's too late now, but there's the PR you merged today of the refactor in customized controller for the dependency type. That
Yes.
person is contributing the same refactor to Helm controller and the CLI, and they also want to contribute advanced dependency management for customized controller and Helm controller like we have in resource set. I told them to start with something that we need, which is the refactor, so then we can consider something they need, which is the advanced dependency management.
Where is that in customized control? Is there a PR opened?
Yes, we patch it.
Oh, allow dependency on any Kubernetes resource is this one, right?
Yeah, and the same for Helm controller.
Yeah. I mean, we have time to review this. If it's,
Yeah,
I'm guessing it should be fairly simple.
yeah,
Reusing
yeah,
the cell API and everything.
yeah. Like I told him to copy what resource set does. I mean, as much as possible, right?
Yeah.
And I also thought about the uh because originally support uh, dependencies only between the same type, right? Only between customizations, only between Helm release. And the reason is because they can consume the same source, and the same source will trigger a bunch of those. So we have to sort, right, with the algorithm
Yes.
that we have. But for this feature, like it doesn't make sense because when you're like depending on something else, it
Yeah.
it it will not use the same source. So it may not be an object that uses a source at all or something like that. So I guess it's fine. It's basically just fine to have this.
Yeah, as long as it does not break the sorting that we have and everything else.
Yeah. And that is fine because that sorting happens on the events that we watch from the sources. So we're not gonna add any watches on these features. So it's completely unrelated. It's totally fine. So yeah,
Yeah,
we're gonna
okay.
let him know that we can, if he has time, we can ship this into the line.
Yeah, I need to look at the polygons because I see he added like, why do we have a ready boolean check? Yeah, I'm not sure it makes sense to add a ready boolean to all of this stuff.
I guess it's to match what we have in resource set. I think we have it there. Let me check.
Yeah, we have it, but for very different reasons.
Yeah, I'll review it anyway.
Yeah, but I'm stuck merging the one in Helm controller.
Yeah, the Helm controller one, the refactor has, I think it has a regression. So I asked him to either modify the end-to-end to print debug info or debug it and fix it.
Yeah, and it's I don't know it's if it's actually a regression or it's a problem with the pod info chart. But anyway, it needs to
Yeah,
like
the thing is that we don't know, right? We need the information. Either he debugs it locally or it adds things in the end-to-end too, so we can know what's happening.
yeah, we need the status and the Helm controller logs if it
Yeah.
fails.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I can look into it today. If not, I'll wait for him. Because I merged something recently. This is another issue. Like the samples in Helm controller, they point to the master branch of Podinfo. So if something goes wrong with the Helm chart there, I don't know.
We break Helm
Maybe I
controller
merged.
end-to-end.
Yes, maybe I merged the breaking change into Podinfo Helm chart. I don't think so, but who knows? Maybe I did this last week, and this is like a repercussion of that one.
Mhm.
But there is a very good reason why we use Podinfo Master everywhere. Because Podinfo, like we keep the chart up to date with chart spec and so on, and we want to know if I don't know the later the chart, I don't know, like Helm V4 wants it. I because I changed, like they deprecate fields in the chart.yaml and I remove those from the chart. Stuff like that, right? So we really want to know if Helm controller all of the sudden does not work with latest latest Helm charts, right? And that catches
Yeah.
it. But on the other hand, it gives us this.
Oh.
Maybe we can do assembler. So instead of building the chart from the master branch of podinfo, we can build it from the latest server tag. But
In the
anyway,
tests, in the end-to-end
yeah,
tests.
yeah, in the test, because in the test we have a Git repo with ref branch master, and then we have a Helm release with the source Git repo, because we test all the sources, right? Git repo, OCI, whatever. For OCI, we use a podinfo server release. Only the Git
Is using master.
is following master, and maybe that's not the best.
Right.
There are also issues in the test because the Helm, for example, the Git repository has an interval of 1 minute. And if it takes longer for the Helm chart to be created, it can go into this loop where it will not become ready in the timeout that we set there. Yeah, anyway, I'll try to debug it and open a pull request that we merge mine first and then we rebase his pull request and the test should pass. I'll do this today. Okay. So I think we are kind of done with what we have in the roadmap.
Yeah.
Anything else that we missed from the roadmap but we want to merge?
I'm almost done with integrating OpenBow here.
And that's for a single tenant use case, right?
Both works for both. We don't basically we can like OpenBow allows the audience to be fully configurable. So it's not like the cloud providers that require specific values for the audience. You have total control in OpenBow. So we can like do it like this. We use the address of OpenBow as the audience for now, and later we introduce some mechanism to add a per object value or whatever. Like we can allow more flexibility for this later with the RFC. So for now we can just do like use the diff and later this becomes a default, right? So this behavior
Yes.
of you use the address now as the audience later will be a default. So I'm fine with this. The only thing I'm having to do here, which is a bit awkward, but it's how Vault and OpenBow work. At least it's not a per object thing. It's when you configure the authentication side on OpenBow or Vault, you have to say like an ID string. Like let's say for example you want to configure Kubernetes authentication in OpenBow and you have multiple clusters, you're gonna have to do this once per cluster in OpenBow if you want multiple clusters to decrypt from the same OpenBow instance. And when you do that, you have to say, let's say, staging 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever, and then prod 1, 2, 3, and this is on the OpenBow side, and this will be one string per OpenBow address. So what I created here is a config map that you can set in a binary flag in the controller. So minus minus sops, vault, auth mount config map. This will point to a config map. This config map will have a YAML inside where the key is the address and the value is this string that points to it's like the cluster name. Somewhat like for this OpenBow instance, you use this cluster name. Something like that. So this allows you to have, because today the OpenBow endpoint is defined in the secret, right? So in the secret, when you encrypt with SOPs, you're gonna have this key called HC vault, And inside there's an address, and the address is the address of the open bow instance. This means as one customization could be applying to different open bow endpoints, and they are configured differently for the cluster. And which one has this alf mount? It's like a path. It's gonna be clear in the PR. But it's basically the best example is like this. Imagine you have a staging and a prod cluster. You're gonna have one string for each. And in the staging cluster, you say, hey, this address of the open bow instance maps to staging, whereas the config map, the same config map in the prod cluster will be the same address of the open bow instance, but with the prod cluster name. So you have these two different config maps per cluster. Both can point to the same open bow, but with this mapping being different in each cluster. Does it make sense? A bit confusing.
So wait. So you have the address. Let's say it's an internal IP. Has to be an HTTPS address, right?
Yes.
Then we use the address. Not only the address. We take the address and the cluster name, and we compose another string that we use as the audience, which is not only the address, right?
No. Audience is unrelated. I started talking about something else in the middle. So audience is just the open bow URL. Like the same when you have a SOPs decrypted secret there, there's a field vault address, which is HTTPS something something. This is the audience. End of story for audience. Now, there's something else. This something else is when you configure OpenBow to trust a cluster, you have to choose a name for this cluster in OpenBow.
Okay.
This is the name I'm talking about. So I did an experiment in my machine here with one OpenBow instance and two kind clusters. I configured OpenBow to accept authentication from both clusters. I had to supply a name that differentiates the two. It's this name I'm talking about. So
So why do we care about the name?
because this name goes in the API call to login. Like when I have to do when I send a token, I have to do this login, and this login needs to specify this name in the call.
So the audience stays the URL, but we need the cluster name
Yeah.
for the login,
Yes,
whatever,
because
API call.
be, because you could do exactly what I did here, right? I have one OpenBow that works with two clusters. So I had to create the connection between OpenBow and each cluster separately and had to choose a name for each one, right? So this is the name that the login call has to say, hey, this is
Yeah.
the cluster connection I'm referring to. So
Mm.
so that's why it's a map, because for you're gonna have one string, like it's a map from OpenBow address to cluster name, right? Makes sense, right? Let's say you have in your customization, you point to three OpenBow instances, and in each one, you configure the connection with this cluster with a different name. It could happen.
Wait. So the key is the URL? Why?
The key is the URL of OpenBow. Yeah, because that it's a configuration that you do on that OpenBow instance, right? So let's say I have these three OpenBows here.
Yeah, no, I get it, but I'm talking about the configuration. Why is like that? Why are we using URLs as
Because
keys?
because the URL is what we like. It's needed to build the token and to perform the login, right? So
Yeah, man,
one
I get it. I'm saying we shouldn't be using a map.
okay,
This is what I'm saying. We should have some kind of structure. Cluster, clusters, YAML array, name, URL,
okay, that
right?
works.
To have like a
Yeah.
like You don't, in YAML, you don't see keys that are starts with HTTPS that you have to escape them because you have 2 points there. It breaks everything. There's not.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I'll change the structure to some, yeah, like top level, yeah, instances. It's more about the instance, right? So I'm gonna call it instances, and then it's a list of objects. Each object will have address and auth mount, which is the right name for the cluster in the OpenBAL taxonomy. Like what you see on the OpenBAL side is called auth mount. So address and auth mount. Yeah.
Yeah. And also the flag should be something like SOPs open bow, not auth mount, nothing, because we don't mount anything. This is our configuration, like how we have like SOAPs
Right.
HT, this should be
Yeah.
SOAPs. Does this also, another question,
Hmm.
is this compatible with HashiCorp Vault or not?
Yeah, I think it is. And I'm calling Vault everywhere because the code is still Vault, right? Like it's still the
Okay.
SOPs Vault package. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean
SOPs.
it's not open bow specific, right? It should work with both of them. Both of them can trust
Yeah.
Kubernetes entity, and
Ah,
both of them take this cluster name as the auth mount.
I haven't tested with Vault. I have to do homework for Vault. I only
Yes, of
did it for
course.
OpenBAL.
Yeah, so check out their docs and see if this matches exactly. Because
So,
otherwise, if it doesn't, we need to add a type.
right, we need, let's say, if this works only for OpenBAL, then the flag should be SOPs OpenBAL config map. And if it works for both, it should be SOPs Vault config map.
Yeah, but no. So I know for sure that HashiCorp Vault supports Kubernetes for this use case. They may have a different thing where it's not cluster name, it's something else or whatever. And based on this finding, we adapt what's in the config map. And in order to do that, we need to have in the config map, besides the address and cluster name or whatever we have there, we also have to have the type of provider, like provider, vault provider, open bow,
Right, in
right?
the
And
object level, right? So we say
instances,
instances and then type, address, whatever, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But from the, I'm not sure we should be using auth mount as a terminology. If it's not common to both of them. If it's common to both of
Mm,
them, then it's clear for all. If it's not common to both of them, we say cluster name or whatever, and then in the documentation we say, oh, cluster name in OpenBOW it's auth mount, in Vault is whatever it
mm,
is, right?
mm. Cool,
So
cool.
we need to keep like a structure that we can differentiate between them in our own code and use some neutral name so both open ball user or a vault user will know what to set in there, right? And in the docs, we definitely have to link to their upstream docs. Hey, if you need to do the prerequisite is you need to do all these steps from the upstream to add the Kubernetes cluster as the trust auth to OpenBOW, link to OpenBOW, link to Vault. Then example
Right.
with how the config map should look,
By the way,
right?
this
And
config map could have an override audience, for example. That's the right place the audience should be.
sure, yeah. When it comes to single tenant,
Uh, I
or
guess,
no?
yeah, I think like it's it's orthogonal to being single tenant or multi-tenant because it's
So
about the instance, right? About the open bound instance, and the connection is established on a cluster level. So uh the
wait a
audience
second.
is okay.
Wait. So I understand the hard multi-tenancy where we have one cluster, one Flux instance. You set this as a controller flag, then you open bow trusts the cluster because it's a single tenant, so you can read all the secrets for that audience. What about, let's say we have this config map that we now tell people, hey, if you do multi-tenancy, instead of setting this flag, you should be using the config map in the namespace, have a ref to it, whatever, right? From an
Yeah, we
API
could do that.
perspective, like how we have for kubeconfig or whatever. Anyway, I'm not saying we should ship this now. The multi-tenancy into 2.9. We can leave that for 2.10. What's important is to be able to replace the nvar, which is like a single tenant use case. But if we want to also have multi-tenancy, let's say in 2.10, isn't the service account, doesn't the service account have to be part of the claim or something? How is
We have that already, right? Like we have spec.decryption.service account name, and
no
we
no no
use
I,
it.
I'm no I'm talking about open ball configuration. So you said in open ball you are configuring the whole cluster and
Yeah,
you configure a name for the cluster. What about the service account?
the service account comes from the object, the customization object, like it does today.
No, man, the service account has to come from Flux system namespace customized control. Where am I setting this in open ball?
In this connection, like in this, did you see I posted a comment with a link in the Alex's
Yeah.
issue? That that link shows how to configure Kubernetes in OpenBOW. And that is where you put the audience, you put all things. And you can have different service accounts use the same connection because it's a cluster level connection. You don't do like per service account connection. You can use like the service account maps to a role. The name the terminology is a role. So for this cluster, uh, the service account will have namespace and name, identifying the role. It's literally that's how I'm making in the code here. It's namespace underscore name because any other like thing we would want here like a slash or colon, it's not accepted in the role name for OpenBOW. Probably Vault as well. So uh you can have basically multiple search accounts in the same cluster connection with OpenBOW. And you can have multiple clusters and everything.
Okay, I see. It's a bound service account names, which is an array, and bound service account namespaces and audience.
Yeah.
And the cluster, where is it?
The cluster is the whole thing. It's like the when you do a post with this configuration and it's okay, this is one cluster connection. So you did this for once for each cluster.
Hmm.
And the delf mount will be there like in the
But we
request.
don't need this role at all in our config. We only send the service
it doesn't
account
have to
name,
be. Yeah, we doesn't
namespace,
exactly. It doesn't have
audience.
to be. It doesn't have to be a new config. Like we when we are issuing the token, we know what's the source account, right? It's if it's the customized controller source account or if it's an object level one, we always know. And then we derive this role name that is required for the login from the source account name. So we don't need an extra input, an extra configuration knob for this. We already
Oh,
have it.
cool. Okay, now it's clear. Okay. Vincent, you joined later. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Um, yeah, hello, everyone. It's my
Hey,
first time being here. Stefan, I met you at KubeCon 2023 in Paris, and we met and we talked about some strange issues with the video and chart with some hooks that were deprecated and removed, and then we couldn't patch and upgrade the chart altogether the automatic way. Did you remember? And Matthias, yeah, I
no,
met you
I
at
talked to thousands of people at
yeah.
KubeCon, man. I have
And
no.
Matthias,
It's impossible to remember that stuff.
yeah, yeah, I didn't have the chance to meet you at KubeCon last month. I met Matthias, and I'm working as a DevOps engineer for uh, um, how to say this for a defense company in France. So responsible for building some ships and submarines for the French Navy and all around the world for every client who buys ships and submarines from this company. And yeah, we are using Flux in production for an internal development platform. And I I love Flux, and I always wanted to get the team all together around using a single GitHub engine. And right now we are competing between choosing between Flux and Argo CD, and I'm as a product lover, I'm trying to contribute where I can, where I see fit to get some improvements in either
Have
the
you tried
process or the
the
features.
Have you tried the UI, the Flux operator
Yeah,
UI?
yeah, the UI is awesome. Yeah, yeah. It needs some a bit of features compared to a Go CD, but it's awesome to get this traceability around when you suspend a resource, you get the author of the suspend action, and it's awesome to see everything stacked into one page. And to navigate the graph and to understand easily the relationship between the resources. It's awesome. Yeah, thank you for this feature. It's a real game changer for Flux, I think. So yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, we want to add now. Um, by the time we release Flux 2.9 end of this month, either before or right after, we want to add a new dashboard with focused on the workload. So
Mhm.
for example, right now, when you go to like a Helm release, you see like you have like a list of deployment, daemon set, whatever, you expand one and you see the pods. And we want to have that instead of expanding there the pods, we want to have the deployment as a link. You click on it, then you can go to a dedicated dashboard that shows you everything about the deployment, like the pods running, the actual containers inside the pods with the container statuses, the container images, and how that deployment gets into the cluster. So we want to also add this like more of a dev focused view to the web UI, not only like a SRE or DevOps person, which is understands what the hand release is, how Flux is layered. So we want to have like this more dev focused features in the UI. So
Mhm.
that will come by the end of this quarter or early next quarter after 2.9 release. So yeah, if you can try that out after we release it, give us some feedback. That will be really good.
Hey
Yeah, sure.
Vincent, how long are you here in the call? Because did you hear when we were talking about your PRs? I only realized you are here now.
I didn't want to to talk through, and I wanted you to get a review, and
But you were
I
here
let you
all
talk.
this time?
Yeah, since the beginning, like
Okay.
2 past 10, I think. 10 past 2, sorry.
So yeah, he did the refactor with dependency type and the pull request for advanced dependency management.
Cool.
Yeah,
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 I'll look at this if that ready flag makes sense or not. I feel like we are overcomplicating the thing. But anyway,
yeah. It's okay.
I'll
We can see through and debate. I'm open for everything. Mm,
He also
Whenever you
wanted to
guys have
discuss some
the chance to check.
features in Flux Operator. We can do this next week, right? He
Yeah.
asked if this is the right meeting to discuss Flux Operator features. I guess it is, right?
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. If
So
next time.
everything is sorted, no flux topics, we can definitely discuss operator too. Okay,
okay,
I have a hard stop. I need to jump into another meeting.
Cool.
So yeah, so for today I'll try to figure out what's happening with Helm controller to unblock your pull request for the API changes. So we can merge that because that's a major requirement for everything else. So how I plan to do it, I will probably open a pull request that fixes the end-to-end tests. Mateus will merge that, then you have to rebase
Mhm.
your pull request with a latest from main, and then I will manually trigger CI because we have to do this for every new contributor. Everybody gets hacked, so we can't allow people to run our CI by default. So now we
Yeah.
have to manually approve every single run. But let's try to get this sorted so we get it merged everywhere. Because otherwise, your other pull requests are blocked. Um, you
Yeah,
also
they
need
depend
to
entirely on this.
yeah. And after we merge Helm controller, you have to rebase all your other two pull requests, right? To have and use the shared object.
Yeah, and
Sure.
he's going. I think you already have a PR in package, right? He needs to add fields to this type that we moved there in the refactor. So it's actually 3 PRs again, right? 3 for the refract
Yeah.
factor and 3 for the new features.
Right.
I don't think I opened a PR on the package repo, but I opened a branch already. So I tried
Branch.
to,
Yeah, you told
know,
me you did
yeah,
something
I
with
opened
just
the
a
branch and
branch.
I tried to cook something in the branches using my own versions of the package module. So yeah, I started with that.
Cool.
But
Cool.
Okay.
I proceed and
Mateus,
rebase.
do you have a
Thank
minute,
you.
Mateus, to talk about notification controller?
Yeah, I can stay.
Okay.
I need to go. Oh yeah. Kingdom found some really nasty stuff that Mateus, please look into it. Kingdom will explain. I've seen it
Yep.
on Slack. Looks very, very serious. So if we can replicate, we really need to fix it for 2.9. I'm off.
Cool.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Yeah, what I found was it looks like for commit status notifications, the notification controller became more stringent about which notifications it would push out as commit status notifications. And the customized controller stayed the same, doing the same thing it has always done. And at the confluence of these two things, the failure statuses are all dropped. So if you have commit status notifications enabled for GitHub or GitLab, then you'll get the positive ones only, and the negative ones will never arrive.
Hmm.
And I am not 100% sure. It looks like it was a regression since Flux 2.7. I know there have been a couple of changes in the notification controller behavior, and there was already one fix that was adjacent to this, but it doesn't look like it actually fixed this issue. Um, so I wanted to ask you if you know what was the intent of the change, because I'm not certain if it's a bug in notification controller or customized controller, because it seems like the behavior in notification controllers is justified and tested, and it might be customized controller that's doing the wrong thing now. But if it's worked this way forever, maybe not. I don't know.
All right. So one thing, the big change that we did in notification controller was refactoring how we deal with these commit status notifications, which is we used to have an if like a filter if that says don't send if this is a commit status for a bunch of providers that were not related to Git, like let's say Slack, Prometheus, Alert Manager, etc., etc. Like all these providers that they're not interested in commit status events. So they had this if when sending um, the notification, they would check if the notification was a commit status and drop otherwise and not send. The change was to do this in a single place instead of 20 different places.
Uh-huh.
That's what introduced one of the regressions that we fixed. This was in the very beginning after we released 2.8. So in 2.8, that's when we shipped this refactor and someone noticed quickly that commit status stopped working and we fixed it. So I believe it's functionally equivalent.
So what it looks like is that if you go through branch by branch and customize controller to see what does it do with commit status, on the success branches, it will emit commit status, but on the failure branches, it will only emit revision information, which is enough for notification controller to send its notifications if it was tuned into those things. But it's now only listening for commit status updates, for commit status notifications.
So do you have the version where this was working correctly? Was it like 2.6
I have not
latest
tried to
patch?
do rollback yet, but I'm 99% sure that when I deployed my commit status updates for the first time in Flux 2.7, it was working then. So I think 2.8 might be where the regression happened.
Oh, okay, so yeah, earlier you said it was a regression 2.7, so I thought the regression was introduced in 2.7, but not, it was 2.8.
Maybe. I haven't done a rollback, so I can't say for sure. I was going to do that
Yeah, it's
today.
more likely, like we did not, the time when we changed a lot of things in notification control was 2.8, not 2.7, so it makes more sense if the regression was introduced in 2.8.
And anyway, I skipped all of the early 2.8 versions, so I can only say for sure that it's in the latest 2.8.
Cool. So, do you have a simple scenario for me to reproduce, like just
Yeah,
Git
it's
Git repo source
just
customize?
create a Git repo source for your customization and hook it up to commit status notifications, and then watch as it shows only positive status updates. If you fail, you won't see about it.
Cool. Okay, I'll try. All right.
Cool.
I saw you had a thread, right, in Slack. We can
Yeah,
follow up
I'll
there
put the link right here in the
after.
chat so that you can see it easily.
Cool. All
Cool.
right, we continue
Thanks for
from
taking
there
a look
then.
at it.
Yeah, no problem. All right, let me stop the recording now.